Has Dearborn, Michigan become a de facto no-go zone in America where Sharia blasphemy laws against Christian proselytizing must be followed? Is it a place where Muslim violence and intimidation replaces tolerance and pluralism? Watch this United West investigation and you be the judge.
Touch me, it's going to be, you do not touch, guys,
These faggots are typical of my end. Put the camera on my fucking friend.
There's no expectation of privacy out here, dude.
Yeah, I'll break that motherfucker.
What was that?
Put that on my face one more time and I'll break that motherfucker.
Yeah?
Yeah. That's a promise.
All right.
Let's go, man. Let's go, get that camera out of my face. He's right there, over there. He's right there. Over there. In the car, right there.
He's back this way.
No, I'm telling you, he's like this. I seen him going. What's up, bitch? What up, bro? I'll knock you out, bitch. Why are you getting this face? Fuck out of here, man. Get that camera out of my face, man.
Beat that again! Beat that again! Beat that again!
Bring it on.
At the sentencing phase of the trial, despite the video evidence of the assault, Mohammed Bazi pled not guilty, demanding a jury trial. 1 year later, a jury found Mohammed Bazi guilty of assault. Defendant number 1, Ali Hazima, pled guilty to assault and battery, was charged with a $300 fine and given a slap on the wrist. Defendant number 2, 36-year-old Mohammed Bazi's court records show that in 1995, he had an assault and battery conviction, 2002 domestic violence conviction, 6 vehicle-related convictions, a drug paraphernalia conviction, and in 2012 a window peeping conviction. Now the sentencing for the 2011 assault you just saw. During the sentencing phase of the trial, Bazi's prior window peeping conviction was addressed by Judge Summers. This deviant sexual behavior, known as window peeping or being a peeping Tom, is considered a gateway crime, an act that leads sexual offenders down an escalating crime path.
The allegations were that Mr. Bazi was looking in the windows of a number of different addresses.
For a good laugh, pay close attention to what Judge Summers said police found in Mohammed Bazi's pants pockets.
Lotion in one pocket, a wad of toilet paper in the other pocket, and peeping in windows that are not associated with you gives the court a pretty fair idea of what's going on, Mr. Bazi. I understand what the plea is. Fine is $500, that's the maximum. Court costs $100. Probation goes along with other cases.
Mohammed Bazi was found guilty of assault by a jury of his peers. Judge Summers hands down his sentencing.
It's a $500 fine, $200 court costs. Probation is 24 months, reporting as directed. The oversight fee is a standard $25 per month. In this case, it's 4 days jail. This can be served on weekends for their 48-hour time periods. Probation, as I indicated, is 24 months reporting this directive. There's an additional 3 days on the alternative workforce program at a cost of $20 per day. Again,
Wayne County Sheriff Deputy Turfy refused to investigate at the 2011 Arab Festival. Captain Pradell and Deputy Chief Richardson refused to investigate the assault and battery for over 30 days, possibly covering for Bazzi and Hazima.
In frustration with Wayne County Sheriff's Department's endless deception and inaction, I sent Corporal James Isaac of the Dearborn Police Department the video of the attack. Corporal Isaacs identified Bazzi and Hazima within 48 hours and had warrants issued immediately thereafter. I pursued this case for over a year because the Wayne County Sheriff's Department and City of Dearborn are corrupted by not defending the First Amendment rights of non-Muslims. There's a long train of abuses going back to 2009, making Dearborn, Michigan the first emerging no-go zone in the United States.
Dearborn, Michigan again, and just to give some background and context here, this is the center of the Islamic community in all of North America, one of the largest Muslim diasporas in the entire world. A Muslim has been charged with attempted murder for trying to run down a Christian protester. Frankly, I'm not surprised. Tom Trento is president of the United West, an organization that monitors Islamic extremism. So welcome back to the show. Now, I'm not surprised this happened. I'm rather surprised that anyone's actually been charged.
Michael, it's amazing what's going on in Dearborn, Michigan, which is the new no-go zone for Sharia-compliant Islam. No Americans allowed in Dearborn unless you follow their rules. Crazy stuff developing, and we got a lot of information for you today.
Yeah, let's have it.
Well, on June 15th of this year, people have seen the American Muslim stoning Christians video that we put out. And I think it's over 1 million hits, and we are inundated with anger from America, from around the world. Michael, every single country, 200 countries, somebody in every single country has watched that video. That was June 15th. It was filmed 2012. On June 17th, Father's Day, at the Islamic Center of America in Dearborn, the largest mosque in the country on Ford Road, that same small group of Christian missionaries, street preachers, provocateurs, if you will, went to the mosque on Sunday, Father's Day, to preach a Father's Day sermon. They were standing outside. People came out of the mosque yelling and screaming at them, and they were on public property, but they weren't in the Wayne County area of jurisdiction. They were in the Dearborn Police Department jurisdiction. All of a sudden, a Muslim by the name of Mohammed, no less, jumps in an SUV, comes flying over the grass, over the hill, over the curb, directly at 9 of the Christians assembled with that Reuben Israel gentleman in the middle.
Yeah.
And they had to literally jump away. They were missed by inches. Thank God the police were watching all of this. They have it on their video cams. They cornered the Mohammed in the SUV, threw him against the car. Security people came out from the mosque, the Islamic Center of America at Dearborn, started yelling at the police. The police almost arrested them. They arrested this individual, charged him with 9 counts of attempted murder, put him in jail. He got bonded out immediately, got a big-time lawyer, and guess what? Not a peep out of any of the mainstream media on the attempted murder of 9 people in Dearborn, Michigan on June 17th.
Now, you know, Tom, now that does not surprise me at all. We know, particularly within Michigan, Detroit in particular, the media has been terrified of saying anything. But what surprises me, and I'm relieved, the police actually pressed charges. I'm not sure if we have the video that we can play, but we showed it in its entirety just the other day of what you mentioned, of Christians being stoned, of being attacked. I mean, there was blood. leaking from them. They were hemorrhaging, for goodness sake, after being attacked by a Muslim mob. You had little girls in hijabs saying F you and F you and F you, and the most filthy language. And the police, if anything, protected the Muslims and refused to give any sort of protection in any way, moral or physical, to the Christians who were merely there peacefully saying, this is our point of view.
Yeah, and you're 100% right, but there's a very important distinction for your viewers that's critical. We have two law enforcement jurisdictions in play in Dearborn. One is the sheriff that handles the county, Wayne County,
right,
and the other is the police department of Dearborn. Dearborn police performed admirably. They weren't involved on the 15th at the Arab Fest, June 15th. The sheriff's department, they're the ones who dropped the ball, and I'm sure there's going to be a lawsuit. But on the 17th, it was the jurisdiction of the Dearborn police, and all of our reports, and we have some good sources. That's a large mosque. We develop sources even within mosques, by the way, Michael. And the PD, the police department, deserves a credit for doing the right thing, and they were there to protect these preachers. So they're the good guys. The Wayne County Sheriff people are the bad people in this situation.
This is really interesting to hear, because I was down in Dearborn at a conference with Pam Geller and Robert Spence and various other people. We had a man who'd been a slave in Sudan, a black Christian who'd been a little boy, a slave in a Muslim family. I mean, people who doubt these stories, please do your research, do your reading. Now, there were police protecting us there, because there were people outside who wanted to get at us, if you like. I know this is very difficult for North Americans, Canadians in particular, to embrace, because they want to think the best, as I do. But there is this gaping double standard now, where a Muslim can break a law, can attack someone, and it will be covered up, explained, justified. If a Christian even talks about his faith, or even opposing Sharia from a non-Christian point of view, Pam Geller's not a Christian, immediately they're attacked, and that becomes a news story.
Yeah, that's right. You were at Pam Geller's event, Pamela Geller's event in Dearborn, and I saw video on the clashes there. But it all goes back to Sharia, the path, Islamic jurisprudence. In their doctrinal book called Reliance of the Traveler, if you look up the section on slander, slander means saying anything. You got this, Michael? This is a new concept in the West. Slander means saying anything that upsets Muslims. If you upset the emotional or psychological stability of a Muslim, you have committed slander. And go look at the penalty for slander. You see, there's a new dynamic in play, and it all goes back to Muslims are absolutely convinced of the superiority of their culture, Islam, but they're obsessed with their inferiority of convincing anybody else about the superiority of their culture. Islam's a disaster. Where it takes place is a disaster. There's good Muslims within Islam that are trying to get out of it, and folks like myself and others and you are trying to stand by that. But Dearborn is a red line event, a historic event in the West. The jihad, the physical jihad, has come to America.
Okay, just before we go, one technical point. Attempted murder of 9 people. He's out now. You always take into account the risk of flight. There's a very good chance, in fact, it has to be, that this man has connections in other parts of the world. He may well have a second passport. He may have dual citizenship. I would have thought he's not the sort of person, and he's very likely to repeat the offence if angered. I would have thought he's not the sort of person who should be released on bond or in any other way.
Not only should he not have been released on bond or have a gigantic bond, but this guy needs to be watched, because he is de facto a flight risk. And where is President Obama on this? When Harvard, when a cop knocks on a door, the president's having beer parties and trying to bring everybody together. 9 American citizens in Dearborn were almost killed by a Muslim. Where's the president speaking out? Where's his anger, his righteous indignation? He's silent, and he's complicit, and he's collaborating with the Brotherhood on this. This is horrible.
We'll have you back on the show, sir. I promise you, and I promise the viewers that we'll have you back on the show. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Michael. Have a great day.
This United West investigation makes it very clear. In conclusion, Dearborn, Michigan is America's first Sharia-compliant city where non-Muslims may have lost their freedom of speech.